Hello, Jim. Dr. Arkham has denied permission for this meeting. I had to pull some strings. I'm Dr. Henny Youngman. I'm a psychologist. I'm in the process of writing a book about you. My career is in jeopardy just being here.
I'm disappointed.
Why?
Because you're not the Batman.
To the Batmobile. Let's go. Atomic batteries to power. Turbines to speed. You're ready to move up.
Aaron?
Yeah.
Hey, Aaron. It's Chris Mosier. How are you, sir?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing
I've
well.
talked with you before.
What's that?
I didn't know it was you.
I'm sorry.
that I was gonna be talking with.
Were you expecting some other podcast to call you tonight?
I just didn't expect that.
So,
Can you hold on for like 30 seconds?
Absolutely.
Okay, sorry about that.
Okay, no problem.
30 seconds.
That was weird. What the heck was that?
I don't know. What? Who
I
are
was
you?
like, I'm like, what?
I'm going to take this opportunity to grab the other phone and get in the other room.
Said sing us a tune.
Sing us a tune? Not known for my tunes.
From
no
your...
more for my dancing.
Oh, really?
And outlandish fashions.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to go through us on the podcast.
Have you ever seen a 230-pound man spin on his knuckles?
No, nor do I want to.
And I do it with my pants off, just to top it all off.
Woo! With your Batman boxers?
Yes, and they're always with the Batman boxers.
Aye.
Also have the penguin ones where you stick your junk in the penguin's beak.
Yeah.
Sticks out the front.
Are they edible?
A little monocle for the balls.
Are they edible? Do they taste like fish?
Yes. They're not disturbing enough that I'm wearing Batman underwear, but they're now edible. They're like fruit roll-ups.
Yummy.
Hello.
Hello?
Hello, Aaron.
You caught me in the middle of working out.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. I know I just got done myself. Did myself some reps. Feel
I just
pumped.
got done lifting a bag of Fritos.
Ah, man. I was hoping it was an extra large size bag.
What's that?
So I was hoping it was an extra large size bag.
Oh.
More weight.
Right. I left myself a six-pack. Did some curls.
There you go. I got me one of those, too. Of course, it's still with me, though.
Oh. It's not light, is it? It's not light beer.
No, it's pretty dense.
Oh, okay.
It's pretty dense. So
how are you, sir? Do you remember I talked to you about 5 years ago? For a little...
Yeah, that's why I said it's you interviewing, man. Right? I know you.
Okay. I know you. And you still picked up. Cool.
Yeah, I know.
You know Fanboy Will?
The number.
You know Mr. Fanboy?
I've never met him, but I've heard of him, though.
Okay.
How are you, sir? This is me right now.
Oh,
how are you?
Sir? I'm good. How are you?
Long time emailing and all that stuff. I've never chatted personally, though, so it's cool to meet you.
You too, yeah. Like I said, I was telling Chris, if I sound a little out of breath, it's just because I just got done working out. I have to cut my workout short so I can talk to you guys.
Oh, thanks.
All right. Yeah, I feel
very
special.
kind.
Yes.
Shows you guys over watching Pumping Iron for 150th time.
Oh, jeez, with Arnold.
But I hope you leave enough room for my fist because I'm going to ram it into your stomach.
Arnold. That's the one when he's smoking the ganja with Lou Ferrigno with the Hulk.
Yeah.
Puffing on a J with the Hulk.
Like it's incredible.
You can't say that every day. I smoke pot with the Hulk. Yeah,
I know.
It gives him incredible munchies. But dude, hey.
All right, I'm going to introduce Mr. Aaron Schoenke. Chunky? Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is this live right now?
Well, it's not live. It's recorded, but it will sound live when we put it up. So
this
do like a
controlled disaster.
Do like a cool intro.
They got all of that stuff I just said then.
Yeah.
Oh, great! I didn't know. Okay, well, all right. It's time to get serious now.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, that's our. Yep, that's us.
Attitude.
Perfectly serious.
Yeah.
Aaron Schoenke is with us this evening, or this afternoon, or this morning, depending on when this goes up, and from Bat and the Sun Productions.
I just pronounced Schoenke.
Schoenke.
Well, that's what I thought it was. You moron.
Yeah.
Call him Schoenke.
Yeah.
See?
I butcher everyone's name. If your name's not like Smith or Jones, I butcher it.
Yeah, well, same here. I can't even pronounce my own last name.
Tonight we'll just call you Batman.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
Nightwing.
Yes, that's more like it.
Well, my first question was if you saw the Batman, Dark Knight there, and what you thought about that.
I liked it. I liked it better than Begins. I thought it was cool. It had a lot of cool cool things about a lot of new stuff to the screen that's been, waiting to jump out of the comics for a while. I think it was a bit too much story. I would have liked to just focus on some things. It was a little rushed, like Begins was. It had a lot of good story points. Ones I would have just liked to have savored a little more. I was comparing to like if you're eating this great meal like a steak and it's delicious, and then someone like takes it away and gives you like a delicious like fish fillet, and then takes that away, and you're like, oh no, I want to enjoy this. I want to enjoy that. Come back to that. Come back to this.
Right.
So I would like to see a little expand. I think that they just skipped over. I talked to some people and they got a little confused on certain points, but I mean the film is enjoyable, and that's the most important thing of any film. I'd rather watch a film that made no sense that was enjoyable, than a film that made complete sense and not enjoyable.
It's getting stellar reviews.
Yeah, it's like I haven't heard one bad thing yet. So
yeah, a lot of people seem to like it. I mean, it's making more money than anything, so it's good. I mean, it's setting a real serious tone, and I think it's good. I think probably the biggest flaw with the film is that the film is really dark, and obviously comics are very, very dark, and I think that's a great thing. I just think that like when I saw it, and I was like, wow, this movie's really dark, and I was like, if I had a 10-year-old or a 12-year-old, I would not want them to see this movie. In comics, in many ways, are not meant for kids, and that's great. But there should have been a little more, I think, of a warning, to. Yeah. I mean, Bevan is fans of all ages, and like an 8-year-old. I mean, I would assume you would agree, should not see that movie.
It's PG-13 anyway.
I mean,
right?
you just look at Heath Ledger, and he scares the shit out of you. You could have mentioned a little kid.
Yeah, the way Two-Face looks, and all the people that die, and all the danger that they're posed. I mean, that's all great. That's not a flaw with the film. It's just. And I know that Warner Brothers was struggling to get a PG-13 cut, because a few times they cut it, it was rated R. I've seen a few things where the MPAA, who gives the ratings, they said they should be a little ashamed of themselves for making it still what it was.
Yeah.
I'd be interested to see when it comes out on DVD if it'll be unrated. Maybe we'll get that little
really?
That extra blood and guts. Maybe, who knows?
Supposed to. There's a lot more extra footage from this film than there was from Begins.
Cool.
Wow. Niceness.
Yeah, I read a review. They compared it to like Heat, which is like a real intense like urban crime drama.
That's a great movie.
Yeah.
De Niro.
Yeah. No, it's good. It's good. So now it's ready to lie. Definitely in the top 5, probably best superhero movies of all time.
Oh, excellent.
Sweet.
Definitely.
Can't wait to see it. I might actually have to break down and go see it.
I'm going to go be seeing it at IMAX this Saturday, so I'm all psyched. I was going to ask you the name Bat in the Sun. Where did this come from? I've always been curious about that.
Me and my father actually came up with it. It was it's kind of like the yin and the yang. You have a dark bat who's daring enough to come out before the sun sets. Not they'd normally come out at night, so this one comes out early. And it's to show that it's brave and it welcomes. This dark thing still welcomes the brightness and the hope, of the fading day, and just a nice contrast, because you got to have balance. I mean, it's good and evil and stuff like that. So
that's what I kind of thought. I was like, it's kind of cool because it's it's taking something that's usually dark and scary and misunderstood, and putting it before something we can all consider good and resembling life, which is the sun. So it's like you said, a yin and a yang type of situation. So that's cool. It's a nice balance there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I love the logo that my father designed as well.
Your father is a talented man, I must say.
He is. He's actually really talented.
I'm seriously blown away by his scores for your movies.
I'm sure he'd appreciate hearing that. Yeah. I mean, he's a very, very talented musician. I mean, that's what he's been doing his whole life. He has a couple CDs, and he does all different kinds of music. And he's really a true artist. I mean, he just loves art for art's sake. I mean, that's his gasoline. That's what keeps him going. So, and that's obviously amazing to work with, because with him I get 8 different talented people all in one, and he has this ever-going ability to just keep producing. He's like, okay, we're going to build it this way, and I'm going to score it this way, and I'm like, okay, great, perfect, So, and we think very similar, so we're always usually on the same page, and it's really amazing to have that to work with, and he's half of what Bat in the Sun is, and the new music page is actually I'm working on. That's going to go up, and it's going to show off all the CDs and have the new soundtrack to the film. We just completed an original project and stuff, so it's really cool. It's really cool stuff.
I don't know if Paul Molnar told you or not, but I met him at the New York Comic Con this year. and he was in the audience when I was doing a speech for a fan film panel, and we were actually talking about like original scores at one point for films, and I brought up your father. I said, well, no one's mentioned Mr. Schoenke's soundtracks because amazing stuff, And then after the show, Paul came up to me and he said, hey man, I told Aaron about the props you give to your father. It's pretty jazzed up. So that was cool,
Yeah, well, I mean that is great. I really appreciate that, and it's true. I mean, a lot of people don't, fan films don't do that because it's just hard. I mean, it's really, to write music, it's easier to edit because it's visual and you can identify with it easier. Writing music is so much harder, and to do it well is even harder. So, if you go into filmmaking, you can't do everything at the same time, and it's hard to get a hold of. So I was really, like I said, blessed to have that.
Very fortunate
in my life, and I do appreciate you saying it because to me, family is the most important thing in the world, and to compliment him is like complimenting me because it's just one and the same. It's just all
It's a chip off your block.
Yeah, no, very much so. Yeah, when we so you can definitely see the resemblance.
Yeah, I actually can. I was actually watching the behind-the-scenes footage of your first fan film, which is Batman Beyond
Year One, right?
And I was kind of looking at your dad. He was doing the composing and all that stuff. And like I said, yeah, it looks just like him. It's like, yeah, it's definitely Aaron down the road.
Yeah, no, it's true. Yeah, we're built. We look very similar. Even when we actually met Paul McCartney a few years ago, and he really was, oh, you guys, I can see the resemblance. You guys are related. So we're like, oh man,
Wow, you met Paul McCartney?
Yeah, how cool.
Oh my God,
the greatest of all time,
Whoa, I'm like the hugest Beatles fan ever. I would have fainted. I don't know how I would have dealt with it.
You would scream like a little girl.
No, it was cool, and yeah, it was just a very special moment. So, of course, Paul McCartney's the greatest,
Oh, of course. And then, of course, you used the I Am the Walrus at the end of Patient J, but that was the Jim Carrey version.
Yes, Jim, Jim's version is great.
That was a great selection there for the end.
Yeah.
All right, Chris, I'm done using up all the free oxygen.
No, that's fine. Well, I wanted to learn more about the your new film that you're working on. I went onto your webpage most recently, and there's a new poster up there. What's that about?
Yeah, there is. We just finished this. We just wrapped it about 3 weeks ago. We've been working on it for a year. It's a short, 23 minutes long. It's called Here Lies Revelations. The premiere actually is going to be the 28th of this month. So if anybody's interested and is in the SoCal area, by all means, zip me an email. But it's totally original. It basically is about a serial killer who gets his comeuppance in the afterlife. It's definitely pretty dark. It's probably the darkest film I've ever done. And to be quite honest, I'm not like a super dark person, even though like all the Batman films have been pretty dark.
Right.
But it definitely dives into the psyche of kind of a serial killer and how the morals of life kind of come back on him. And it actually deals a lot with religion and the Book of Revelations in there, and kind of ties into that. And it's religious, but it still has like kind of a supernatural element to it.
Now, who's in that? Any of your past compadres there? I'm sure your dad's scoring it, correct?
Yes, and actually it's best score. It's really cool. We got some new choir to come in and sing for part of it.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I got some cool stuff. The music is by far the most unique and scariest stuff he's ever done. We actually he recorded a choir, and then he wrote it so that he could play it backwards, and then it worked on sync. So basically, when you listen to the music of this choir, you're actually listening to them all sing backwards. It's kind of trippy sounding.
Some Beatles stuff right there. It's some Sgt. Pepper stuff.
Yeah.
Fiddling around with this stuff.
No, it's definitely very, very cool. I just love it. And as far as other actors, we have of course Paul Molnar, who was in the Joker in Patient J. He's the lead in it.
Oh, very cool.
And he did a great job. His character is somewhat similar to the Joker, just because he's playing a serial killer, but a different kind of serial killer, very different. And he worked hard. He researched the Bible, and he really went the extra mile. But I was kind of surprised because when we shot Patient J, Paul's 6'4". He's actually really tall, like the Joker, and he lost a lot of weight for the role because the Joker's very thin and gangly. He got down to like 165 pounds.
Wow. That is super.
Really
I'm 6'4", so I know that's really skinny. Yep.
Yeah, and then for this role, he was supposed to play more of a bestial, maniacal kind of person where he's just more of a beast looking, and he bulked up to 200 pounds.
Wow.
So, and he's cut. Like I was, cause he went to New York and he trained for a couple months and came back here, and I was just surprised. I was like, wow, you're pretty hulking. So he really pulls it off, and he did a really good job. I was really impressed. And also Kurt Carley, who was in Patient J, he played the psychologist. Kurt's also been in Dead End. He was in World's Finest, and he does a lot of actually monster work in Hollywood, like all the Underworld movies. He did Land of the Lost.
Oh, cool.
He did some Godzilla stuff. Yeah, I mean, never get to see his face, but generally when there's a badass monster in a costume, it's probably Kurt. So he in the story, he's actually kind of he's the voice of reason. He's the moral of the story, and Kurt really has a very strong presence. So I enjoy working with them both. They work well together, and it's just easy on the set. You know, I've worked with some actors that are just like, oh my god, like we're not going to get through this day shooting. You know, or like you're shooting, you're like, oh, we have to cut this out later. I'm just going to appease him and make him happy. But they're very easy to work with, so that's great. And then also another cool part of the film is, I don't know if you guys ever seen the show Kyle Likes Why?
No.
You know of the show?
No.
Is that it's the guy without the belly button. He's like a synthetic human. Isn't that what it is?
Yes. And the show's on ABC Family. It's getting like bigger and bigger every year. They're on their third season now. It's like Smallville actually, but a little more together. Smallville can kind of be all over the place sometimes with its storytelling, although it's still a good show though. But the female lead in there, the female synthetic robot thing, Jamie Alexander, that's the actress who plays the character, is in the film as well.
Sweet.
So, and she does a really good job. I was blown away by her as well. So she's very, very cool.
Very nice.
And then it's definitely a concise, intense film. I mean, it definitely has a lot of intense images and it's dark, but it's definitely overlaid with a sense of morality and an artistic vision. So I hate violence for violence sake. You know, definitely, if you're going to do something that's horrific, let there be a lesson to be learned here. Take that magnitude of, you know, emotion and horrifying presence and put it towards something. Don't just scare the audience to just make them feel like they have a miserable life.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. There's a lot of that going on.
There is, yeah. You watch movies. Like I watched the movie Saw, and I was like, wow, that was a good movie, but I want to kill myself now.
In a very elaborate way.
Yeah. But yeah, I watched that, and I immediately had to watch like When Harry Met Sally to just down.
Oh no.
Immediately the DuckTales CD went in.
Too extreme.
DVD.
Yeah.
And some DuckTales action going on. So I wanted to actually bring it back to the fan films, of course, because we're the fan film nerds. Your first film was Batman Beyond Year One, your first fan film, correct?
So there was a few more that never got released that never saw the light of day, but yeah.
Okay, well, I was going to ask you, why start with Batman Beyond? Why not the Batman first? Was there a reason, or?
The film started off as just something, because I've been making, or into filmmaking since I was very, very young, and we started making a film because I kind of look like Terry.
Yeah, that stood out right away. Like the first time I saw it, I was like, well, yeah, it looks just like him. It's like the cartoon.
Yeah, so that's what a lot of people told me, so I was like, all right, I'll make a film. I mean, because, Batman's a whole other, beast in itself, and that had been done a lot, and I just didn't, you're just not there yet. I mean, that's a hard thing to tackle. You definitely got to play in the minor leagues before you go, play pro. And it was supposed to just start with something that's a learning experience. We wrote the script, we shot part of it, and then we're like, oh, this is really fun, this is cool. And then it somehow it got online, and everyone was like, oh, I want to see this, what is this, and then that's why, then we actually really started to put a lot of work into it and then put it online. But it was never intended to be what it ended up being,
Okay.
It was just supposed to be a learning experience. I mean, with all movies, it's just a learning experience, and it's an artistic avenue, and, just something fun to do. I mean, I was 15, when I did the whole movie, so I was pretty young. Most people, don't know that, but I was pretty young when I shot that, so it was fun, and I learned a lot. I mean, that film took like 2 years to do, all the while like going to high school and writing plays for high school and doing all kinds of other crap. But
Terry, I'm sorry about your friend Merrick. I know how you feel.
I should have been there, Wayne. I should have been there. I not only failed as Batman, but I failed as a friend.
A similar thing happened to me once. And not a day goes by that I don't think about my friend Harvey Dent and the monster that would eventually destroy him.
Wayne, I've been Batman for a year now. I fought Blight. I fought Ink. I've even fought the Joker. And nothing has twisted my soul as much as this has. I mean, I almost killed that man out there. I don't think I can handle the responsibility of being Batman. I failed you.
Terry, being Batman is a huge responsibility, and the rewards are few and far between, if any. I sometimes feel as though I have failed you. But no words I could have said could have eased the pain of having you lose a friend and a loved one. You had to experience this for yourself, so you'd be able to find the will to go on. Being Batman is the only life I have ever known. I don't know much about a normal life, but here's what I do know. Never forget the reasons that made you choose this path. Your juvenile crimes, they're over and done with. And in time, you will lose the guilt that you could have saved Merrick's life. Even more so, the grief we share of our past. The loss of your father, the loss of my parents, will forever be our strength as to why we carry on this fight for justice. We live for them and friends like Merrick. I'm proud to have you carry on the legacy that is the Batman.
I learned a lot, though, from it, and I'm glad that people who do enjoy it, really enjoy it. I used to look at people who go to conventions and she'll walk by, and they're like, Terry McGinnis, I walked, I was actually walking by, a really cool one as I walked by, I forget who it was, and Bruce Timm yelled out, "Hey, Terry McGinnis," and I turned around, and I was like, wow, it's Bruce Timm, and he's like, I saw your movie. He goes, "You're Terry McGinnis," and I was like, oh, wow, I'm like, that's awesome. Very cool coming from you, Yeah, he was really cool, and obviously he's one of the creators, so I was like, oh, that's cool, I'm glad you've seen the movie, and so forth, and so it was cool. It was very cool.
So, why were you stealing my character for your movie?
Yeah, it was fun, though. It was cool. The intention is never to show up Hollywood. I know a lot of people make films and say, Hollywood, they don't get it right, they're all wrong, they're backwards, I can do a better job, and I'm like, well, I think that's kind of, if you are a professional, you don't want to, talk bad about another professional. You're all artists, you just have different interpretations, respect people's art and agree to disagree. I would love to, to get hold of the Batman franchise as a wild idea as it is. It's the most sought-after franchise in the world, so, but it's, you never want to insult somebody's work. That's a good way to get shot down right away. I know a few filmmakers who did that and did get shot down and now kind of have a bad reputation in Hollywood because of it, with their arrogance and stuff.
Right. The fans are the same way when I read, if I go to Ain't It Cool News, which I don't go all the time. It's not one of my favorite sites, but I do like to read the talkbacks, and they're insane as far as Smallville or Heroes, comparing it to, especially Smallville, and comparing it to the canon of Superman. It's something totally different, and as you said, it's someone else's interpretation. It doesn't have to go along with the comic book exactly. What Fanboy Will is saying.
Exactly.
It kind of goes like that.
And that's true, and I can't stand when you ask them about a superhero movie, and they don't tell you what's wrong with the movie, they tell you what's wrong with the adaptation. I'm like, they're two different things.
Exactly, yeah.
Batman Returns is way off on its adaptation, but I think as an artistic venue, it's really, really enjoyable. If you put aside from the fact that nothing's accurate, I really enjoy it, and there's a lot to learn from it. You just got to know what to take from certain artistic pieces. Certain things don't speak to people, and some people can't comprehend that, and their arrogance goes, oh, it's bad. I'm like, that's because you don't understand it. Begins and Dark Knight had some things that were off, but that doesn't make it a bad movie. That just makes it its own interpretation, and after a while, that's important to do that, to reinvent the character and make it viable to a new generation.
Mm-hmm. Hear, hear. Hear, hear, sir.
Yes, sir. I agree wholeheartedly. Well, I figured we'll shoot from year one, talk a little bit about Patient J.
We can talk about Patient J. We actually skipped Dark Justice in there.
Yeah.
If you want to do Dark Justice first, we can go there first.
If we're going in chronological order, then I guess.
Okay. Yeah, I don't want to mess up your order. If you want to do that, we can do that.
If you guys don't like the film, and that's your way of saying, we can.
Screw that Dark Justice crap.
It was all Fanboy Will. Blame him.
J.
It was his question.
Now, that's a film.
No, Dark Justice was actually that was different. We brought in a new. That's when we obviously tackled the Batman, and we used Tanawai Reed as the Batman, who is now actually Toa on American Gladiators.
Ah, there you go. We got another fan film person on American Gladiators.
Yeah.
Is that
Michael O'Hearn?
That's not the same. Oh, is that the same guy from World's Finest too?
That's Michael O'Hearn.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so you have two people. You have basically the guy who played Batman in my films, and the guy who played Superman in Sandy's films as the two main stars on American Gladiators. And I talked to them. They said they joke about that all the time.
World's Finest Gladiators.
Plus, he turned himself green, didn't he, recently for the Hulk on American Gladiators? Didn't he paint himself green or something?
Yeah, he did. Yeah, Lou Ferguson was on and they painted themselves green. I actually had a chance to go down and see that, and I was filming, but I wanted to. Actually, I went down and I kind of not competed or tried out for American Gladiators with Tanawai and stuff, which was a hell of a workout. I have to tell you, that's probably one of the hardest I've ever worked out. Going down there and competing.
Yeah, you were a little scrawny kid when I first saw your film, and now I look at your MySpace picture and holy shit, you got the pumpitude going.
Huh?
You got the pumpitude going like Hans and Franz.
Pumpitude.
Yeah. Well, no, I've been working. I was 15 when I shot that stuff. I mean, it's hard to, when you're a skinny teenager, it's hard to work out.
Awkward
like that. So.
Absolutely.
Now, I've put on about 35, 40 pounds of muscle.
Jeez.
But it's good to be healthy, though. I mean, like I said, I do look up to Arnold, and I think it's good to be an advocate of working out and staying in shape. So, especially if you want to, be a superhero, it's really important to be in shape. So,
yeah.
But so back to Dark Justice. So that was really fun because it was shorter in its size, and the story was very, very simple, and that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to just execute a simple story because Batman Beyond was like all over the place. It was like flashbacks and like 35. And Dark Justice was just, I wanted it to be something different, and I wanted to bring kind of a cool fight scene to Batman because they haven't really done that, and they still really haven't done it. Not to say that fight scene was any better than what's out there, but that was the goal. And I thought what Tanawai brought was awesome. I mean, he works 110%. I mean, he was doing crazy stuff that I was like, I can't believe he's doing that in a freaking Batman outfit. But he's like an 8th degree black belt and all this kind of crazy stuff.
Sweet, he's like the real Batman. He knows everything. All the martial arts.
Yeah, no, it's true. Yeah, he's like a master of 8 different fighting styles, and he's like 6'3", 270. He's like enormous, but he's really cool though. Like he's like the nicest person in the world though. So it's really cool.
He's a teddy bear.
What's up? Yeah,
he's really a big teddy bear. Big muscular teddy bear that'll crush you.
Basically, yeah.
Come here, you big ape.
I was hoping when we were shooting Dark Justice, we shot in some not so safe areas. I was hoping like a gang would just show up, and I'm like, oh hell yeah, I'm gonna film Batman and beat the crap out of you guys.
Nice. That suit is incredible in the movie. Did you get it made for you, or did you make it, or who makes the suits?
A little bit of both. The suits. I mean, it's a little like my father makes part of the suits, and then we have like the mask sculpted by another fellow. So it's a combination of basically those two efforts. But the suits are cool. I mean, they fit, and really though, it's the actor inside the suits.
That's it too. Yeah.
If I were to try on those outfits, they wouldn't look as cool. I mean, granted, they're like an extra large, so they probably look a little baggy.
It's a lot of material for that gentleman.
Yeah, like the spandex seams started to like rip in the back. I was amazed. I was like,
you're in trouble when spandex is starting to rip. I mean, you're a huge man at that point. It's not some like fat guy jumping around or some skinny little scrawny guy.
I am Batman. Yes, I am.
George Wendt's going to play the Batman in his next fan film.
Oh, God.
Yeah, one of my favorite stories from Dark Justice is we wanted to get him on the roof, and we're like, okay, let's figure out where do we place the ladder? And I swear to God, like I turned around to grab the ladder, and I heard like a flap of the cape, like a footstep. I turned around, and Tanawai was gone.
Whoa!
And he's like, and I looked around. He's like, I'm up here, bro. And I'm like, oh man, why did
he's the real Batman?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It's pretty sweet. I mean, and he did stuff that I didn't even ask him to. I was like, kick here, and then he like would kick and then like flip over something. He's like, how about that? I'm like, yeah, let's do that again. So it was pretty cool. I mean, it was a lot of times like he would do things and I wouldn't film them, and he's like, did you get that? And I'm like, no, I was too busy being a fanboy, like awing at you.
Wow, he's really Batman.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. He looks great.
Enough good things about him.
And you're big into your big Batman. That sounds naughty, but as far as getting big actors to play the Batman.
Mm-hmm. That's the thing. I mean, I'm not going to shit on anybody's parade or anything, but it's like some people, when they make a fan film, They choose to just go with just anybody. They don't think about, him looking, like the character he's supposed to portray. They'll just be like some really skinny, scrawny guy who's supposed to be like the Hulk. It doesn't work, you know what I mean? Like, it's cool and everything, for making the film and stuff, but in order to really make an impact and really connect with the comic book audience and the fans, the fanboy community, you have to look the part. You know what I mean? That's very important.
Yeah, incredibly.
And you've always got all bases covered in all your films. I mean, all the roles have been played by very, very, very suitable actors and actresses. So I think that's one of the things that make your films stand out, make them, some of the greater ones in the fan film community right now. Is just the authenticity of the roles and all that stuff. So like Molnar is the Joker. He's brilliant. You got your great look at Batman, and Chris told me you got the Metropolis Superman
for Legends, right?
For Legends, yeah.
Yeah, Scott Cranford, who really embodies the character. I mean, even just in life when you meet him, and and the way he just talks about things. He talks kind of the old-fashioned kind of morals, and we have to do this, and you have to be respectful, and we can't leave
the big Boy Scout.
Yeah, and it's cool though because you can see it. I mean, that bleeds through into his acting and just kind of the way he stands there. Because it's who he is. You don't have to. I don't say like stand there and think about Superman. He kind of is already, and I'm like, okay, just keep looking like that. Just hold on.
Keep that super look going.
Well, actually, Legends.
It's cool.
Legends came sort of. Well, I mean, I guess it depends on how you look at it. Legends came before Patient J, but was released afterwards, not as a film, obviously, but as a trailer.
Yeah, actually, I would say the Legends actually came after Patient J, because we shot a lot of stuff for Legends specifically. Like, we shot a project called Madness, which I'm shocked how many emails we get almost daily about this project. That, like, really...
I was one of them back in the day. I was like, what happened to it?
Yeah, we put it out, we were going to do it, and then some things fell apart. I mean, obviously, with the film, everything's not, like, officially, greenlit by a studio, but we had a lot of good stuff shot, and we wanted to use it, and then the Patient J opportunity came up, which, I've been wanting to do for a while, and we just jumped head first into that, but we had all this cool footage we didn't get to use, so we decided, well, let's make a Batman Legends, kind of montage. It's not so much a trailer as it is just a montage for people to watch, and be like, hey, Batman seems like a really cool character. I want to read his comic books or, check him out, and we used unused footage from Patient J, all the stuff from Madness, and then we shot, once again, with Tonawai as Bane this time, which he enjoyed wearing that outfit way more than the Batman outfit, mainly because he could move. And we shot a few other things like me as Nightwing. So
weren't you, did you have something to do with, what's that website? Is it Blue Tights or something?
BlueTights.net?
Yeah, what's that have to do with Legends?
That actually is true. The whole Blue Tights with Justin, who runs it, who's a cool guy. And that's where Brian Singer was doing all the sort of, he had videos on there and stuff. I actually talked with Justin, and then he put Madness on there, and that's why Madness got so popular, because he was a big fan. And then he had been talking with Brian Singer about possibly doing this, and then I know Brian, and I know Mike Dowdy, one of the writers, and they asked me, and they said, is Justin a reputable guy? And I said, I said, he's a cool guy. So that's kind of how, I mean, they were already talking, so it's not like I'm the one that did it. I just kind of pushed it further, and it's huge. I mean, those things are really popular online, and I owe a lot to Justin for putting my stuff up there, and it was Madness. It was before Patient J, so that's why it got so big, because that got so much press.
That's where I found it, actually. I'm a big Superman fan. I was on Blue Type surfing around, and I saw the film, and I was just like, wow. I'm like, when's the movie coming out?
No, it's cool. It's too bad that the two filmmakers that were on there, like one of them got like mauled by a dog, and one got disease. I don't know. It was something like weird because they stopped doing them, and it was too bad.
That's odd, right?
By lightning 3 times in a row. It was a bad year. Actually, I was going to ask you, as far as actually in Legends, I noticed you have Robert Gunderson from Robin Punchline. How did you get a hold of him to be in your film?
He contacted me because he saw, I think Dark Justice it was, and he was like, oh, I really want to be in your films and blah, blah, blah. And he's like, I'll drive down, I'll do anything, let me be in them. And he looked a lot like Robin, so
he looks great.
I told him about it. Yeah, he was all for it. He was just totally like all into it. So he was cool. I mean, he looks a lot like Robin. And
the suit is fantastic they made.
Yeah, so it was just a great coming together because we were going to have to make a Robin suit and all sort of stuff. So he just volunteered, and I was like, perfect. And he was all excited about it. So it just worked. It just worked real easily. We shot, and that was it. And then he came back down again and shot some new stuff for Legends, where we rented a van and put him on top of the van and drove around the city, which I don't recommend doing either.
Come back again so we can endanger your life.
Yeah,
come back, please.
He just loves the character, and we shot some stuff, and we were driving like 25 miles per hour with him on top of the truck.
Wow.
And on top of a white van, and he was like, you guys can go faster. And we're like, okay, but if you die, though, you can't sue us.
Sign this waiver.
I don't get mad.
Yeah. So we ended up going like 45, 50 miles per hour down these roads, like sharp turns, and I'm like, wow, this is either going to look awesome or we're going to play this at his funeral. One of the two.
And it will look awesome at his funeral.
Yeah.
Either way.
To go out.
Yeah.
It'll look cool
I
either
want
way.
to die in tights and on top of a van.
It was kind of funny to watch other people like watch it. People like would watch by and they would kind of like look at themselves and be like, you could see they're thinking, did I just see Robin go by on a van? It was kind of fun.
Yeah, you don't see that every day. No.
It was one of the funnest shoots because we had two cars going, and he was like hanging out the back of the car, which is really dangerous. I was kind of like, why did we shoot this? I'm like, it looks great, but we could have killed him.
Hey, it's over now.
Do we get the shot? We got the shot. Okay, it's okay. So your plot for Batman Madness originally, what was it going to be? Was it going to be like kind of like revolve around the Mad Hatter and Poison Ivy more, or? Because I noticed you got a ton of people in there. You got the Riddler and everybody, too.
Yeah, it was basically, I'm even trying to remember now. I know it had a big deal to do with the morals of Batman and Superman and how they go about things and how Nightwing kind of came in the middle of it and tried to make them see their viewpoints of what's going on and just the darkness. I mean, it's the classic normal battle between light and darkness of Batman and Superman. And, I mean, psychology is like, I told you, is always like, this is, I think, the most fun thing to explore of superheroes because they're just,
definitely.
They're just all of us. Psychologically, just with an exclamation mark, just that much more. And that's what it was kind of going to explore and it was going to be about how Mad Hatter and Poison Ivy can manipulate people and how Superman's truth, his honesty doesn't go that way, and how Batman kind of uses the manipulation in the underworld. And it was really just a big contrast between the two of them.
Oh, cool. I've been wondering that for a long time, so that's cool to finally find out the information.
Yeah, and the guy we had playing the Mad Hatter, Jimmy, he did a great job. Jimmy looked great. I mean, he was...
Yeah, that guy looks like... Yeah, with the hat and the teeth and everything.
Yeah, and he was like 4'11" or 5 foot, and the Batman actor we had at that time was like 6'5", so it had a good dynamic. And then the girl playing Ivy, oh God, her name's Kelly Warren, I want to say.
That's my ex-girlfriend.
Yeah, she was awesome. It was a lot of fun putting the leaves on her.
One at a time.
Especially with her boyfriend, like, standing right there glaring at you. You know, like, I just have to quickly just...
Whatever. No boyfriends on the set.
Yeah.
Her linebacker boyfriend.
Yeah. So I know that's kind of scary. I was like, you could put this leaf on right here. It's an
This is your leaf.
Yeah.
This is naughty leaf. Put on the naughty leaf.
But she was cool, and a lot of people always watch Legends now, and they're like, oh, that was awesome, but Ivy was so hot, so I'm like, oh, I guess that's the point, you know?
Yeah, I was definitely like, huzzah, when I saw the good choice there.
Yeah, she has a sort of like, I'm really hot, but I might kill you after we sleep together.
That's the thing. Yeah, she has that. She has that going on, and just the look, you know, like, just the gaze.
She should have played the Black Widow.
I met her on a set. She was doing some modeling thing. I don't know. So I just walked up and I was like, can I cover you in leaves and film you?
This may sound kind of creepy and random.
Yeah.
I'll pay you well.
It was cool, though. I mean, it was fun to shoot. Like I said, it just didn't work out. But we put in Legends, and Legends is now huge online, so that's pretty cool.
Glad it worked out for you in the end, anyway, because there was a lot of cool stuff to see. You know, never would have seen the light of day. So
yeah, it's true. There's actually one scene that I've thought about putting online. There's one scene that Madness is like 3 or 4 scenes, and there's one scene from the film that is completely done. Like it's the music. Oh, cool. Everything is done, and you see a part of it in Patient J when Batman's holding the body.
Oh yeah, with the chick in the bag, yeah.
Mhm. That scene is from this one scene, and then the scene that's only like about 30 seconds of like a 3-minute scene where Ivy comes up and because she's in the lagoon down there and talks with Batman. It's actually it's pretty cool. I've just never put online because it doesn't really make sense if you don't understand the story.
Yeah, I thought that was really random. I'm like, the girl in the bag with the vines and stuff. I'm like, could this be a clip from something else?
Yeah, it was a clip, so.
I think you should put it up when you get a chance. I'm sure people that know your work will appreciate it. I think it'd be cool to see.
We have some stuff like that. Yeah, we have some other stuff that we shot that we just never put up. You know, we shot on 16 millimeter, just some fun stuff of Batman beating up some thugs that never made the light of day either. That was just for test footage and stuff.
Right.
Just some fun stuff. You know, I seem like just putting it all up there and just being like, whatever.
Yeah, that would be cool.
You know, but of course you're gonna get the YouTube posters. This doesn't make any sense. What is this?
So, do you have any want or need to do like a Nightwing short because you look the part, or was Legends enough for you?
You know, surprisingly, that's about it. I mean, Nightwing's cool. I like Nightwing, very, very interesting. But you know, if you're gonna do the films, do the big guy. And I know a lot of people have, you know, done a lot of Batman films, not a lot of Nightwing films. And like I said, I actually went up to Mike Uslan or Mike Uslan. I don't know how to pronounce his last name, and that's terrible. But he's the producer of Begins and Dark Knight and Gotham Knight. And I walked up to him and I started talking to him, introduced myself, and he's like, "You're Nightwing." And I was like, what? He's like, "You're Nightwing." And I was like, wow. I was like, okay. I'm like, well, he's like, I was like, and I was trying to explain to him, like, I make these films. He's like, no, but you're Nightwing. And I was like, okay, if I could just finish like 2 more sentences, it would make a lot more sense. You know, and he's like, you should play Nightwing. Why aren't you Nightwing? And I was like, okay, hold on. And I showed him the film, and then he's like, oh, he's fantastic, Nightwing. But he had not seen it, the film. But that's what he was saying, like, oh, you look like Nightwing. You should be, you know. So,
right.
Oh, cool. So. Yeah, but I guess all that.
But that's probably all he could say anyways, because he's Japanese, right?
No, he's actually not. He's white.
Oh, okay.
He's white, yeah.
Those damn white people.
But I'm surprised everyone tells me that because I didn't know that Nightwing was a little Hawaiian, so I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either.
I don't know either.
Well, he's not. I mean, I'm not saying that I'm a little Hawaiian.
Oh, I gotcha.
That's what I'm saying. Dick Grayson.
No. Dick Grayson's actually supposed to be part Romanian, actually. So he does have just a drop of ethnic blood. And I'm just a very, very little Hawaiian, but that's why I got the darker features. Like
gotcha.
He's not the full-on honky like Bruce Wayne is.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, Bruce Wayne's got some size.
He's a straight honky for sure.
Bruce Wayne's the man.
Bruce Wayne. Yes.
Bruce Wayne.
George Jefferson would hate him.
Yeah.
That's right. Don't mind us. We're just extremely old.
That's okay. I don't mind.
We're moving on up to the east side, right, Chris?
Yeah.
To our deluxe apartment?
Sure, Wheezy.
That's right.
Well, we're moving on up to the east side, to a deluxe apartment in the sky.
I'm coming, Wheezy. This is where we got to put in the George Jefferson sample.
Yeah.
We got to go apeshit with it.
Mr. Jefferson. Just call me George. Anybody's gonna help me beat that honky? I mean, that whitey.
I know what you mean, George, and don't be afraid to say honky around me. In fact, I would like you to think of me as a brother.
You as a brother?
I told you not to take me at face value.
Okay, Robert, you're a brother.
Sure.
Wheeze it.
The only time I ever watched Jefferson is when they guest starred on Fresh Prince.
There you go.
They did?
I think, yeah, you're right. He was an uncle or something, wasn't he? He was some kind of, I used to watch it pretty religiously back in the day.
Yeah.
Was it the characters or just
It was actually
Sherman?
the characters, yeah, they actually played themselves. Yeah,
No kidding. I'd like to see that. That'd be kind of funny.
That's pretty cool.
YouTube that bitch.
Right? Sure, it probably is.
Yeah.
So, Patient J. Yay!
Yeah.
We got there.
Did we get there?
All right.
I have no question for it. I just wanted to say, well, Patient J. Yay!
Mission accomplished, idiot.
Who played Harley? Because she did a great job. She was very bubbly. She had that bubbly personality and that.
Mr. J.
She was good. And she was also in that Christmas one, too.
Mm-hmm. Yes, the Christmas Picture.
That was great.
Yes. That's Rachel Nicole. She's actually, I know her because she's actually a singer who's actually in my dad's band. And who actually has a fantastic voice. Actually, she's a really, really good singer. And we actually wanted to do a music video with her as Harley, but we're just going to we're shooting a couple music videos for the band coming up soon, and you'll see her featured in there, probably wearing one of her Harley outfits slightly. I mean, it's not going to be Harley, but she's definitely going to be wearing something that's kind of sexy and clownish and stuff. And I think I'd be blown away by her voice, because I was too, and I was blown away by her acting ability, of how much she really lost herself in the character and just like was doing things that I didn't even tell her to do. I mean, there's certain times where she just kind of blinks weird and licks her lips and does stuff, and I was like, wow, I didn't even tell her to do that. So, and there's some pretty good outtakes of Paul and her they just get like so into it. I have to like tell them like to stop. I'm like, you guys are just being really in character and not moving the story along at all right now.
Guys, relax.
They start like hitting each other and talking about mutilating babies, and I'm like, this is interesting, but this is going nowhere.
Nice kill, Mr. J.
Right, thank you, honey.
So, I mean, like, in Christmas Spectacular, when, I don't know if you guys remember, like, when the camera kind of cuts out and they're, like, spanking each other and wrestling. I mean,
that's funny. That's a random. That's great.
All outtakes. That was not planned. And that was cut down from, like, 20 minutes of them just destroying everything on that.
Go with it, baby. Just go with it. Keep going. Do we get all that?
They get a little into it, so. But did
you get the spank?
Yeah, it was good, so. But she does a really good job, though, so. Look for her in the music video coming up.
Okay. Those will be online and everything?
Mm-hmm.
You said mm-hmm?
Yeah.
That was a 10-4? That was a 10-4? Okay.
Now that we're here in Patient J land, I have a couple questions here. Where did you find the location for the film?
The initial location? Where
the kind of spooky, dungeon-y looking underground Arkham Asylum setting there. Where'd you find that?
Part of that was shot in one of the biggest haunted houses, or at the time was one of the biggest. It's been closed, actually, since we shot there. We have a tendency, wherever we shoot, places get closed down for some reason. I'm not just joking on that one. Yeah, but it was a great look. It was a haunted house. It was like a really very, very detailed, and it was much more expensive to rent a haunted house than to actually build a set. Although part of it, actually, we did have to build, though. On a stage to use a lot of it. And all the flashbacks, of course, were all shot on stages. But the initial room, though, was in a haunted house, though.
Cool.
So, and it looks cool. I mean, it lit well. And it definitely has. It definitely is more that Grant Morrison's Arkham Asylum, kind of long Halloween Arkham, not so much the clean-cut Arkham of Dark Knight and Begins. Just more of a fantasy spin on it. Of course, the Joker has more of a fantasy spin on it with the long nose and chin and stuff. So.
How many days of shoot was that in that room?
It was 3 days. It was 3 full-hour days. Because there's a lot of dialogue in there.
Yeah, I was going to say.
The angles, I'm really, really proud of the angles and the writing there, just because, I mean, if you look at what we started out with, I mean, basically you're like, let's shoot a 34-minute movie in one room. And you're like, well, how interesting is that going to be? So there's a lot of little things in there, like when he reveals the rat, or the camera will actually change sides when Henny, the psychologist, reveals a new side to him. And there's a lot of subtlety that's put on there that I know a lot of people have probably missed, just because I just leveling a lot of that stuff in there.
The appearance of the Joker in your film, were you kind of going with the Brian Bolland look, or were you going with any particular look, or did you just say, hey, this is the way I want him to look? This is my vision of the Joker. Did you just decide to go your own way?
Brian, I don't know if it's Bolland or Boland. I've never known.
I think I don't know either. It's Bolland or Boland. I might be butchering it.
His version of the Joker, along with Alex Ross's, spot on. They're probably the two best, and Paul's face kind of already has this. It was very easy to add. I mean, when I met Paul at
that's kind of weird.
Singer's parties. Yeah, I met him at one of Brian Singer's parties, and I was just like, I walked in, I was like, you know who you look like? You look like the Joker. And he's actually a big fan of the Joker. So, and he's an actor. He actually just landed a lead role in a feature film called I think The Disappearing Act, which is really cool. It comes out like in 2 years or something. He was all excited. He was just telling me about it. But he definitely has that Joker look, and he's tall, and he has a very kind of menacing look. So we put a nose and a chin on him. And Jeff West, who's worked on a lot of stuff, he's our makeup artist, he kind of designed a little bit of the Joker as well. And him and me came up with the idea of putting veins all over Joker's face, which I don't think we've seen Patient Day, which is supposed to just kind of add our own look. Because, I mean, if you had really white skin, I mean, you can look at a lot of Irish people and see that. That's right. And so if you had white skin, I'm sure you'd see it. And that's kind of more of a menacing look, with just kind of a uniqueness without really changing the subject matter too much.
They gave him red eyes too, I noticed, kind of.
Yeah, his eyes were definitely they were like red and yellow. They had like a really scratchy look. Because I mean, if someone's gonna bleach your skin and burn your lips off and dye your hair, I would assume it would probably mess your eyes up too.
No one's ever thought of that. You know that? No one's ever really touched that.
Yes, and in the context, they look really creepy on him. So he couldn't see a lot of the time, but they look really creepy. So,
and I noticed you changed up the look of him in a couple of different scenes. You know, when he's like beating Robin to death, he looks really, really maniacal, and like the features are really exaggerated. You know, it was like extra scary looking. And of course, the scene where he comes out from being the Red Hood out of the waist, and he's skin is bubbling and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
got a lot of cool different looks going on.
Yeah, with Page J, we really try to just cover like all Batman genres of the way they used to look. I mean, even Batman, we have the Bob Kane look, we have the Neil Adams look, we have the Jim Lee look, and basically Joker talks about he remembers himself differently every time he thinks about his past, and so we wanted to really just kind of nod our heads to the past creative teams in the Batman universe and just show the way that Joker has looked in all these incarnations. Just give the audience something, give the fans really something that they can go, I get it. That's the thing.
You could tell it's made by a fan. All your films, you could definitely tell. It's like this guy knows his stuff.
Made for a fan, by a fan, made by a fan for a fan, because like if you look at like Dark Knight and Begins, it's definitely more broad. It deals with a lot more elements of actual just like society and stuff that everybody can relate to. Whereas these films, not everyone's going to see, only the fans are. So you have to kind of write it more for them, not as broad,
Yeah.
I was interested as far as the Joker makeup there. Is that all Paul? Did you design that?
Who put the way he looks, or
yeah, exactly. The defined chin and all that.
The makeup would be Jeff West is one who put the makeup on, and him and me kind of came up with the design. Like a lot of that's Paul. You'll see actually in the new film, Here Lies Revelations, Paul isn't wearing too much makeup, and he has his regular nose and his regular chin. You can see how he does look different, but how you can see a lot of the Joker in him.
Yeah, okay.
Paul does look kind of weird in the new film. I mean, he shaved his eyebrows for the new film.
What else did he shave?
Yeah, his eyebrows. But he's really, he's willing to go through, all kinds of, like I said, he lost a lot of weight for the Joker. He sat in bed for 3 hours every day. So he's really very willing to be committed, and the stuff that Paul does, I would do anything I asked my actors to do, but Paul did a few things that I wouldn't do. So, but yeah, the makeup design on him was done by, like I said, Jeff West and me, and I think it's cool. I think it's pretty accurate to how the comics look.
Yeah, it looks great.
The nose and the chin and stuff.
You and Batman, you're two sides of the same coin then.
Batman and I are very similar. Even Two-Face agrees with me. Harvey doesn't, but he's a bit of a nut job. Batman and I really aren't enemies. We're the best of friends. We're twins. Only thing is, he's blessed a good son, and I'm not. I'm sent away to the dungeons to wear the Iron Mask. Well, he gets away with everything.
So, any fan films on the horizon?
That's a fantastic question.
Because once upon a time, you said you were done, and then all of a sudden there's Patient J, and then there's the Christmas Joker one.
No, I just can't get away.
Mm-hmm.
Can't get away. No, the thing is, I just end up doing more original stuff, which then allows me to do more of the stuff. I love shooting Batman. It's very complex. It's very hard. It's something I love to do. Even if I don't care if they get released online or not. I just enjoy doing them because you can learn so much, and it's just a labor of love. As far as it's like taking a vacation sometimes.
Right. Get together with your friends and shoot something cool.
Yeah, obviously you definitely need to do your own original thing, and then that's what Revelations is. And I've done a lot of other films that I've worked on beforehand. I'm working on a new film. I don't know if I can say yes to that. I don't know if
that's the thing. Yeah, it's always an open door, I guess. Right?
They should get like Valerie and do a Wonder Woman Batman movie or something.
Well, the only reason why I'm studying on it is because I'm sitting at my computer here actually, and I'm looking at a script that we've been working on for a while, and I don't know how much I can give away, but
little tidbits.
I'll just say this. Check Bat in the Sun's website in about 2 months, and you might see some images from something we've been working on.
Okay, cool. Something Batman-related.
Yeah.
Okay.
We got an exclusive, Chris.
With other characters.
Well, it's definitely him in his dark, possibly black and white.
Oh, sweet.
Black and white, is that a hint?
That's all you get.
What was black and white?
I don't even know.
Now we got to mull that one over.
What comic book was black and white and starred Batman? Well, that's your question.
Oh, I remember the old black and white series that they put out for a while with the Jim Lee cover. That was a good series.
Mm-hmm.
It was like a little mixture of all different Batman stories.
It's definitely kind of like that. It's definitely a very short, probably 6 to 8 to 10 minutes long, but it's very concise, and it's something new. It's something you haven't seen, obviously, done. I mean, why would you do something that's already been done? So it'll definitely have a unique kind of Sin City feel to it. I mean, I already went out and spent a bunch of money, and I have some huge gargoyles sitting in my garage right now that are just waiting. Just waiting. So
gargoyles.
It should be cool.
Black and white. Yeah. Batman. Riddle me this.
Yeah.
Mull it over, fanboy Will. Yeah. Did you want to touch upon, you teach a class with Valerie Perez and Mr. Sean Rourke, and I'm not sure who else. It's like a 4-day class as far as teaching basically how to make small-budget films. Did you want to touch upon that? And that's going to be, once again, at this year's San Diego Comic-Con.
Yeah, I'll just be down there with them, and we just talk about, basically in room 26AB, I believe. It's 10:30 every morning. It holds there's about 200-300 people there, I guess. And they just sit there and we talk about all the different steps of filmmaking, from pre-production to post-production and getting it online and getting people to see it. So it's pretty cool. I love doing it. It's a good way to give back, and it's a great way for the fans to meet me. I mean, last year we had a whole bunch of people show up, and Paul was there, and they got to meet Paul and get pictures and autographs with him, so that was cool.
Yeah.
So it was cool. I mean, it's good to interact with the fans. I mean, 'cause online, everybody lives everywhere, and Comic-Con's a great coming together where you can actually talk to the fans. So
that's where I got to meet Paul.
Yeah. So
that was cool.
Paul. So you can kind of get a look at what he looks like. He's kind of a big Joker, gangly guy, isn't he?
You know what it is? It's the thing. I was standing on the stage, and he was down, standing ground level, and I shaking his hand kind of that way. I was like, "Hey, man, nice to, finally meet you," and I didn't really notice how big he was till I got down. I was like, "God damn, he's a large man." Yeah. Yes, he's very menacing. Definitely very menacing. Great Joker.
Yeah, no, he's a really sweet, not
he is
guy at all. So.
He's a very cool, down to earth guy.
He's doing the scene where he's the Joker and he's menacing, and all of a sudden this cockroach runs out, and he just jumps up and he's like, "Oh my God." I'm like, wow, all right, we won't put that in the film.
Girly Joker.
So it's funny. We can be when he's in character, nothing scares him. As soon as he's Paul, he'll basically be affected by all the fears that we all have. I mean, I buried him in a field that was filled with black widows, and he didn't mind, but then then a spider shows up when he's just out at dinner and he just freaks out. And I'm like, Paul, 4 hours ago,
go into actor mode.
I'm like, I guess you just get really into it. So, but and Paul's going to be there at Comic-Con this year, walking around. I mean, people recognize him more than they recognize me. And he stands out more. He's a little. I'm 6 foot. He's 6'4". So
stealing your thunder.
Yeah, no, it's fine. It's great. I mean, we're all wearing the Batman T-shirts. I mean, we get a whole bunch of people come up to us and we give out DVDs or signed stuff or whatever they want, or photo or stuff, and it's cool though. It's a rewarding experience, and I get people come. I had this one kid come up to me. I used to watch your films when I was younger, and I'm like, have I really been doing this that long?
You old man.
And I'm like, thanks. That makes me feel old. And I'm like, so
the room's lined up for you at the nursing home.
Hey, I was just talking about the friggin' Jeffersons. You ain't that old.
So I miss being 12. That's what it comes down to. I wish I was still 12, making action figure movies.
Right.
Yeah.
Shit, I wish I was still 12.
It's cool. Comic-Con's great. I recommend everyone go to Comic-Con. It's great. I mean, if you can't make it to our panel, I mean, it's really cool. And
big.
Just a lot of fun. And Paul might even be there in makeup, walking around.
Oh, quality.
We're trying to make that happen. So that'd be cool. So if anybody sees us, just shout out there, and it's going to be a lot of fun. And actually, Jamie Alexander, who was in Here Lies Revelation, she's going to be there doing some panels for Kyle XY, so we'll probably all meet up, too. So it's pretty cool.
That is quality.
It's a cool
How'd you meet up with Mr. Work? He's been doing that for a while, that film panel.
He has been, yeah.
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 Just a matter of you going there and introducing yourself and such? How'd you hook up?
He actually contacted me. I forget. I think it's because I know Valerie.
Oh, okay. She's small world.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. It's amazing. You meet people that because Valerie's shooting like Paul Apparel right now, and a kid that was in Revelations actually he was like, oh, the next movie I'm shooting is Paul Apparel. And I was like, wow, that's so weird. And Valerie actually might even be in my next film. So
that would be cool.
It's a very small world.
Yeah,
so she's cool. She's very cool
and dreamy.
She's a hip lady.
Yes, she is. Yes, she is. That's why she's playing the sexy, character that is Paul Apparel.
She's doing a Wonder Woman one too, I guess.
Yeah, I heard about it. She said that on her show. She spilled that one.
So that would be cool.
She's got the script done. She has like this whole, she has like a plane and an airbase and this scene where she's like on the plane, like jumping out of it or something. It's very elaborate. I was like, you can shoot it with me. I'm like, I'm not jumping out of a plane with you.
I want you to jump out of the plane on fire.
Yeah, I'm like, that sounds cool and all, but I enjoy living, so. But it's cool. I mean, all these fan film people, they're just nuts. I mean, a lot of them are more into it for the characters, and some people are more into the filmmaking, and that's what I'm into more, I guess, for the filmmaking as far as the artistic expression.
Yeah.
People just want to have the adventure in their life, and that's fantastic too. It just depends where you're coming from,
The glamour.
That's why I'm trying to push the new film Revelations so hard, and we submitted to Sundance and all these other films. So it's pretty big. It's already gotten actually a pretty big response already, which I'm really happy with. And I'll send you guys a copy.
Oh, that would be awesome.
Look at it and say how dark it is and whatever, all the other good stuff. So it's cool. Awesome. I am really proud of it. Definitely looking forward to seeing it. Yeah, it's cool. It's cool. I'm really proud of it. So I'm just on the heels of that. Pretty excited about that.
Great.
Full Crank is doing the greatest fan film of all time. That animation short they're doing, and the Joker has a very large part in there. Actually, Paul's playing the Joker in that.
Oh shit!
That's awesome. The voice.
Very cool.
And, they have my voice in there. Because when we did Paul's recording, which we did out here at our little sound studio out here, and we recorded back, I threw some Smeagol on there. And they call me back and they're like, we need more Smeagol. Give us more Smeagol.
More Smeagol.
Can you give us a little Smeagol?
Yeah, come on.
Smeagol loves Van Barbarella. Are you sitting in my way? Must have precious life.
Okay.
That was very
awesome. Good. Yeah. I'm not actually really a big fan of Lord of the Rings movies. I just for some reason can do a really freakishly little character's voice. I don't know.
He can do it all, folks.
Yeah, he's a man of many talents.
I did a podcast for Apple Computers about how Smeagol's a PC user and how he comes to the sad realization that Lord of the Rings was edited on a Macintosh, and it got a lot of response. It was a total joke and somehow took off online, and I don't know. It just was weird. I don't know. It was an idea that we're just like, oh, let's just do this, and then later on it has all these hits now, and you're like, oh, well, all right.
Don't you love the computer? It's wacky. It's a wacky place.
Don't even watch TV anymore.
Apple's
go right to YouTube.
Anyways, I think that's all that's going on. I'm sure I probably missed some huge stuff, But any other interesting facts that need to be addressed?
Nothing is interesting. So we wrap this up in a nice, neat little bundle of chaos.
Yeah, right. As always.
Yeah.
So it was great to finally talk to you. Yeah. I really thank you for taking time out.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, no, I love them. I love spilling secrets and stuff. I got a whole mother bag of secrets of things I don't even think I can even say. That I would love to say, but I have reasons that I can't say them. But
when you're ready to say, throw us an email.
All kinds of fun little facts. Yeah, just fun little things like a waitress in Batman Beyond. We had a friend was actually Danny Elfman's daughter, and all these kinds of there's all kinds of little fun. Yeah, which brings in some other involvement of certain things that I can't say that actually happened, or stuff like that. So there's all kinds of fun things that maybe one day I'll pull out a list of all kinds of fun. That we want to. I want to say, but you can't though.
You're teasing.
We'll have to do an obscure fact show.
Yeah, certain movies that have just come out and directors have seen certain films and how they enjoyed them and stuff like that. All kinds of fun stuff.
Or didn't enjoy them.
All kinds of fun stuff, but
when you get older and you get more cynical, those things will start coming out. Trust me.
Yeah, when I realize that I'm not going to make it, I don't care anymore. I'll burn.
Exactly. You're all filled with anger and angst.
Yeah, so... But until that day, I have to keep my mouth shut.
Yeah.
So
that's usually how it works.
Anyways, no, it's great. Yeah.
Appreciate
Take care, buddy.
you
It's great
taking the
meeting
time
you.
out and talking with us. And anytime you want to come back on, throw us an email.
I will. For sure. I want to talk about how great Arnold is. How about that?
That's great. That'd be perfect.
You didn't know I was going to say that, did you?
Cool, guys. Well, peace out.
All right, peace out, sir.
Here I am, 33 years old. You're 39, right?
Thanks, but 38. Close enough.
And we're about a million times more immature than him. It's great, isn't it?
Yeah, pretty much.
Isn't that great? The entire time I'm thinking, I'm 33 years old. This is crazy. This guy's so well spoken, and
right.
I'm talking about like smoking pot with the Hulk.
Yeah, but see, we're older. We don't give a shit anymore.
That's what it is,
He's
man.
younger, and
We're bringing everybody else down with us.
I'm sure if he was around his friends and stuff, he'd.
Yeah, if we're giving some protein shakes with some liquid.
Yeah,
I'm sure things will change.
Let's see, some carrot juice, celery juice, and vodka.
And some Jim Beam. 50% Jim Beam. 25% bourbon.